Hey coding buds, so basically in today's LEETCODE problem 3512, which is minimum operations to make array sum divisible by k. So basically it is a easier problem, and as the problem statement is given as you are given an array nums and an integer k. You can perform the following operations any numbers of time. And here we have a condition like select an index I and replace nums of I with nums of I minus 1. Here we have to return the minimum number of operations required to make the sum of array divisible by k. So as the problem statement is like given here, that we have an array nums and we have a integer k, and we need to check like we need to give the total number of operations needs to perform to make the numbers inside the array is divisible by k element. Okay, so like if I'm talking the example one, here we have 397 and here our value of k is 5. So if we're going to check here, so here we have like 4 operations we need to perform here. Okay, so that it will like divisible by 5. The first thing is that we need to perform on nums of I, which is 9, and we have to make it as 5. So that means we have to decrement it by 1 by 4 times, so it will become 5. So here you can say that it will become, if we take the sum of all the number inside the nums array, it will become 15, which is divisible by 5. Okay, similarly if I'm talking the second example here, so here we have like 4, 1 and 3. So if we like add all these three numbers, we are actually getting um, 8, which is also divisible by 4 here. Okay, so here we don't have any operations needs to perform inside that array to make these numbers, or to make some of these numbers divisible by k element. Okay, okay, numbers. So here we don't have to perform anything. So the expression also given here, the sum is 8, which is already divisible by 4, hence there's no any operations required for this thing. Okay, and similarly if I'm talking about the third example here we have 3 and 2, which is 5. Okay, and here our value of k is 6. So here we required 5 operations. Platform 3, or here we expression is also given here like perform 3 operations on nums of 0. That means here we have to perform 3 operations. First thing is that we have to make nums of 0 as 3. Once you like and second operations on nums of 1, which is 2. Now nums of 0 0, that means here on these positions the sum will become like 0, which is divisible by 5, divisible by 6. Okay, so here what we are doing, here we are just decrementing all those numbers. Okay, that means here we have to just making the array as empty array, and once it will like, if we like sum of 0 plus 0, it will become 0, and like every number is divisible by 0. So yeah, like this kind of problem, and this kind of like problem I have also like solved maybe like 5 days ago. I can also check inside, or like you can also check my in my LeetCode playlist. Okay, and that problem is like minimum operations to make sum of all the array divisible by 3, I think. Okay, that problem is like really easy problem, and I have to also like some kind of this thing. First of all I have to like define let's say operations, int operations is equal to 0, and at that time I have to like traverse inside the array for each number, and here for each number we have to check whether it is like divisible by 3 or not. Okay, then I am talking about that problem, but for this problem what I have to do here we can solve it by using built-in function also. Let me show you how we can do these things. Let's say first of all you have to define int total operations. Int total operations need to perform. Okay, so here we can just simply create a variable of total operations, and after that we have to just simply make a accumulator function, which is an inbuilt function in C++ or C++ STL standard template library. Okay, so here to use accumulate. I think accumulate is a function inside C++, which are basically to perform some operations. Okay, that are basically defined about the distance, or the we can say how many numbers are like required to perform this operation. Okay, so here we have to just simply pass the array. Let's say nums dot begin comma nums dot end, and then after that we have to also perform its initial value as 0. That means we are performing its initial as 0. As you can also understand that if you are like having understanding of JavaScript also, then there we have like we have to learn about the arrays methods. Like there we have like learn about push, pop, shift, unshift. Then we have like learn all about my slice method. Okay, and we have also like learned some other kinds of methods, like we can say map method, filter method, reduce method. So in reduce method we know very well about reduce method inside JavaScript, that it is basically used to perform some mathematical calculations. Okay, like we can perform addition, subtraction, division, multiplication and all those things by using reduce method, and it is like able to return a single value. Okay, so in that reduce method, if you remember that we are using two parameters inside the callback function. One is like our context current value, and second thing is our accumulator. So this is the accumulator, and there also we have to pass accumulator value as initial point, which is we are starting with 0, so that it will be like considering as the initial point, and then after it will make operations on all the given array, or we can say that on every items of the array. So here similarly we have like by using accumulate functions, we have just simply define it 0. Then after it, what it will do, it will like return or I can also write it here. Here it defines accumulate functions, defines the operations, the total of operations required, simply in that way, the total number of operation required. Okay, so here we can just simply return that how many operations are required to perform this problem, that follows the minimum operations to make array sum divided by k. So here we just simply to return total sum or total operation, as I have defined the variable total operations. If I'm like doing this things, then here I'm getting the if I'm executing this program, then I will get error. It is due to because it's only just saying that, like if I'm talking about input, here value is like 397, and here if I'm like this is why if I want to like divide this sum of the given nums items, so here if I'm adding this thing, so I'm getting here 19, and if I'm like making divisible 5, then we know very well that 19 is not divisible by 5. So here my output is like 19. Okay, and here it is like 4. So basically what it is doing here, accumulation function is basically just define the total number of operations required. So here we have to also like divide. Here it is basically as saying that for each every number, but here we have to divide it by k. Modulus, take modulus of k. That means uh, actually here I'm giving the total numbers, and here to return only those total numbers which must be like divided by k. Okay, and actually these total operations are just simply giving the how many total of operations we have to require to perform the given operations, which is divided by k. Okay, and here just clarifying that here we require only those numbers which are divided by k. Okay, so let's me try to compile and run. So yeah, here comparison is completed, and it executes well also. Okay, and here output is like 4. Similarly for second case also, and similarly for third case also. Okay, so let's try to submit. So yeah, it's submitted. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching.